but
Curious in the
it
sense
doesn't
of
resonate. It doesn't resonate at all.
Okay, curious in what aspect?
In the use of, like for example, in the use of words, they would rather maintain some of the original words, like
Mga laklong,
ang Saturday ko no, o Sunday, ligit-ligit, o stuff na niya.
ligid-ligid ang Sunday, di ba?
O diya,
Ikaw nga tungkol makaon sa panuwan, yung magamiton makaana, wala na makaabot ka mga pulong, di ba? Nalimas na sa mga dilas, dili na galing na malito. So ako, I'll find another group, we're the writer, I'll find another group, and that's Batalan. Ikaw was sa Batalan, later na 1986. Okay? What's the contribution of the David to our Cebuano literature, sir?
oh, because in Ludabi,
Mamuntahan ko sa Ludabi member nila.
a number of popular Cebuano writers contributed much to the maintenance of Cebuano literature.
How?
The only
How, sir?
problem was we don't have enough outlets for all the
members.
production of the Cebuano literature from local writers.
How they contributed to the development of our Cebuano literature? They sponsored a contest. They hosted workshops, seminars. Active po kayo dati, sir? When was your last convention? Matala na
That's
lang.
another story because my last involvement in Ludabi as I was appointed as
Ba't kami Ludabi?
the youth ambassador for the provincial chapter, but that was 80s and 80s ago. Now I'm already 74, so I cannot be as active as I would have wanted. But the fact that I have my own personal advocacy, which I do not subscribe to Ludabi anymore, neither to another.
Who was the founder of Ludabi, sir?
That's even I don't just name Mr. Bayan.
Mr. Baya?
That's what I
Not
have.
Marcel?
A very popular Cebuano writer.
Not Marcel? It was Marcel Navarra. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. You see the importance of varied groups with the development of our literature. For women, we have Women in Literary Arts, founded in 1991. So later part na. So if you notice, two groups na no, ang na-form before women writers, a group of writer igawas. Okay, for characteristics, the tendency of the pre-war writers like carried and play a play of various impulse of tradition continued. So as not dili lang sentimental, the moralistic or didactic part, diba, develop lang adapting different experiments, diba, styles from foreign. So that's the writings of post-war. It shifted from patriotism and nationalism to personal and domestic problems. So the fighter's structure, if you notice, of stories. Did you read story of Vicente Soto this morning? Mami. Later, you can compare it to a story from post-war. Why is it here? It has tighter structure compared to pre-war. More internal conflicts and more on experimentation. Later, you will discover that in our sample. The rise of bilingual writers like Leonardo Diogno, Godofredo Roperos, Judy Canizares, Ricardo Patalingo, Iborcio Baguio, we have Eugenio Diacrucis, and Lina Espina Moore. Isa naman lang buhi ani. We have Judy Canizares, Ricardo Patalingo. Patalingo, yes, both from Talisay. Okay, for poetry. In pre-war, it was the golden age of all forms of literature, especially poetry. Sadly, it ended after the war. Why? nga nang stagnate somehow ang development sa atuang poetry. Yes, ma'am. Kana, muna ito ba? Dara. Yes, ma'am.
We're actually struggling with the devastation that was brought by the war. And the main thing that they are up to is just to survive.
Yes.
So they don't have time for writing anymore.
Plus, it took time for them to learn English language and its styles in writing or the poetics. That's why medyo nabiyaan na nato ang poetry. Plus, there was this a pre-war poet named S. Alvarez Villarino. Nga siya yun ang champion of arte metrika. Arte metrika is, yes, you did this morning, di ba? Nag-arte metrika mo? Di ba? Ano mo lagi manupag? Nag-arte metrika mo? Yes. Imagine this S. Alvarez, iyang dinugtok sa mga writer. Kani ang sundan ninyo. Pinaagi-ani nga comparative study between the arte metrika and we have in English poetics. And his conclusion, mas closer kuno ta dapat sa arte metrika. Kaya lisod man nato learn ang English language. Mo nang dapat kuno sundon. But many, of course, find it uncomfortable. That's why free verse emerged, or the introduction. There was the introduction of versi libre happened. Okay, for fiction, or that's Sugilanon. Sugilanon and Sugilangbong. Sugilanon is short story. Sugilangbong is novel. Both from the word sugid, which means to tell, or yes, to tell or to narrate. Very good. Okay, what are the stories after the war? As I said, i-continue ang patriotic, didactic, anti-enemies, but with experimentation. The use of editorial commentary, formal dialogue, and stereotypical characters continued. These were characteristics of pre-war. Take note, ang ato lang ani, ang bago lang sa post-war, ang experimentation, plus of course with themes, no question of themes. Post-war writers, they wrote anything under the sun. So, ano ma-expect ninyo? Later on, I will introduce those. Imagine we have detective stories. Are you familiar? We have experimental in terms of style of stream of consciousness from Virginia Woolf. Later. Okay, Marcel M. Navarro, the father of modern Cebuano writing, won remarkably in his work, Ugiano Dako, Apasumpay and Hunsoy Sungsungan Usab in Bisaya context. So very remarkable name. Ugiano Dako, though it was published before the war, 1937. Imagine why he's considered father of modern Cebuano writing. He belonged pre-war, diba, as pre-war writer. But if you notice, very advanced siya. Maupitang na dako, I will be reading this. Makita ninyo nga, Ugiano Dako, it was written 1937, but ang Hunsoy Sungsungan Usab, isuwat siya after the war, that's 1947 siya, then reappeared 1956, and then it was republished, yes, again around 2000 plus, yeah, 2010, I think, in Bisaya. Very, kung yun din kanahay anthologized ni nga story ni Marcel Navarro. Later, you will compare and contrast. Maudri ang itawag siya o modern fictionist, realist, modern fictionist. Okay, more writers. From 1950s, we have the Merchant Reyes, Gustavo Montalaba, Ricardo Hinson, Gustavo Gabriel, Arturo Gamalo, Peña Serrada, Primestokas Adlawan, Rogelio Bono, Gumarapanan, Santiago Pipito, mostly Bisaya literary editors or editors from different publications or magazines. Kani sila. Those who created a name, those who we consider established. Themes: serious interpretation of prevailing realities of their society. As I said, they wrote any themes, any subject under the sun. Okay, for the Sugilambong, we have novel pre-war, right? Pre-war novel by Vicente Soto, right? Because he's the one who set the standard on how to write a fiction, diba? Including, he pioneered also the writing of realistic novels. So we have novels also post-war, but not so developed compared to pre-war. So replacing the sermon givers, so printing not as outlet for commercial gain or personal expression, but as pulpits from which they might castigate, they gain a social responsibility na, diba? Moral responsibility in writing. So they find their writings a way to castigate or moralize or caution readers. Of course, inspired still by the satire and nationalism of Rizal. There was a shift, the shift of theme heralding the start of realism. For example, the Walay Igsuon by Juan Villagonzalo, the first Cebuano novel in book, diba? Miss, yun sa man paggawas sa novel during pre-war. Kung wala maninigawas ng Walay Igsuon, it was only serialized, okay? Serialized, magawas ang unang bula, ani nga issue. For example, Sunday, ang first chapter, kaduhang chapter na ito, ikaw musubaybay, ana. Why? Ano man? Ano serialized man? Very mahal ang printing press. Okay, mahal ang printing press. Okay, printing. Okay, the first Cebuano novel in book, like so, there's copy of translation outside, right? Okay, Tagalog. Pagbubasa ng Ngit-Ngit, When the Darkness Fell by Godofredo Roperos experimented the novel's point of view and the use of stream of consciousness technique. Stream of consciousness technique pioneered by Virginia Woolf. Who are Virginia Woolf fans here? What's the difference? Kaya nga pinakadali. Lisod tayo ni itukion ang stream of consciousness, actually. Pinakadali. I'd like you to think of internal monologue in narration. In narration, how to use internal dialogue in narration. The character presents what's inside his or her mind, right? Okay, through narration. Di ikaw magbasa, ay, narating mo siya sa una-una sa character. It was clear. But with stream of consciousness, you cannot identify it because the narrator has the tendency to read what's inside the mind of the character. Lisod kayo nabasahon if the text employs stream of consciousness. And it was practice po, no? Isulayan ni Godofredo Roperos, who's also a Bisaya editor. Modernism, a very common na kayo na, especially if literary reader, advanced ba ang readings niya. So it's easy for, especially his Bisaya editor, diba? Very advanced in readings. That's why he can, of course, adopt this kind of technique and apply to our literature. That's a sample. Next, Tiborcio Baguio, who wrote also science novels. Imagine you have science novels, sci-fi. Dili na nababuka ron. Dugay na. We have novels adapted in cinema, that's by Natalia Bacalso, and there are more versatile writers like P.X. Cabahar who wrote in cinema, radio, yes, very versatile siya. He wrote stage, yes, cinema, and then print food, grabe. Julie Canizares wrote philosophical novels themes with existentialism. Kapasa kanin? Wala pa, ni Julie? I-movie yan ng assignment, right? Assignment by the editor, yes, because he's practicing existential writing, kind of writing. So the editor advised him to read Canizares, right? Rick Pataling mo. Carlos Go produced detective novels. Okay, what is the status of play after the war? Sadly, same with, yes, poetry. Not so developed after the war because there were many problems identified, like lack of sustained criticism. We have training in stagecraft, incentives for writers. There's no problem with writing, but play is meant to be staged. So the problems arise here in this aspect. Wala may training in terms of stage directing, something like that. So, sana sa naka-apiko. Plus, pag yun, nikusog ang movies, di ba? Movie cinemas and radio plays. And dito ba sa radio play, kaya nga timog ba yung puhunan, di ba? And that's so costly. That's why, mas di-flourish ang radio play compared to play during post-war. Take note. Mahal ang production sa play. But there were three notable playwrights. We have Buenaventura Tura Rodriguez or B. Rodriguez. Okay. Who is B. Rod? Hala, dahil naman lang nailhanan na Miss Koy. Dahil na lang na siya. Is our late governor also. And very versatile in terms of writing. He wrote, yes, Suspense Deep Understanding of Filipino Personalities and appreciation of local customs and traditions. Example, very popular ang Mini. Tabot ka, sir? Okay. Milyonaryo Mini. Mauna daw. Yes, the movie version, yes, of this play. Mauna, Milyonaryo Mini. And adapted to movie titled, yes, sa Tagalog, Ang Dalagang Pilipinhon with Laura Sibilia and Matanillo as lead roles. Yes, ma'am? Are you saying, what are you saying, ma'am? Oh, yes, ma'am. Sambra. Ang Milyonaryo Mini, huwag mo ito kakita ko siya. Was it like a telenovela? Kanang movie yun siya? O more siya telenovela nga? Teleserye. Okay, teleserye. Okay. Rodriguez also wrote moralistic plays, while Cabahar, P.X. Cabahar, wrote comedies. Another name, playwright, Florentino Boromios. Dalan na gapon ako na ito, miss. Dalan mo ng P.X. Cabahar sa Guadalupe. Dalan mo ng Borromeo. Wala na sila ipanganlag mga dan without their contributions. Imagine! We have Natalia Bacalso. Dalan ko na. Ikan deris kulod. Ikan deris Cebu. Hangtod sa tumoy, diba? That's Natalia Bacalso, ma'am. The longest, yes, road in Cebu City. Ma'am? Oh, yes, the very busy sa traffic. Pautan mo writer. Kompleto na, 20 writers, di ba? You were asked by Ma'am Ho to name 20 writers. Oh, you named the roads. Joke na to, ha? Wala pa kabaw ba? With their contribution. Yes, it's true that Natalia Bacalso also became our governor. And of course, he contributed a lot to our literature. Sample play by Borromeo. staged in okay, well, Kabahar, these are the works of Kabahar. We have Carnaval, Duralex, Ulaksa, Lunangan, Yutangatauhan, and Pansit mo, no? It was played last, yes, Pansit. It was played last year in Robinson Galleria. Very comedy kaayo. Okay, I have here sample photos. This side, radio plays. Okay, na kaning mga pasudayan ni siya. Di ba, when a radio play became popular, the audience or people will ask nga ipasundaya, kabog man na? Mamahal na ba po no times 2, times 3 po nang bayan na sa mga actors? Nga sikat ka nga radio play actor if napasundaya na ka. And parang ito, di ba, magawas na ang mga makakita na ni Priscilla Raganas, ano ito tiktik ko pasandumanan? Niya tiguwang na di ay? Ito during pasundayan, di ba? During pasundayan sa mga radio plays. Okay, do Cebuano writings mao ato ang mainstream. After the war, upay-upay po ang mga Cebuano writers who wrote in English who became popular, yes, who contributed nationally. Kinsa man sila? We have Estrella Alfon. Kapaw na Cebuana siya? Yes. Okay, very good. Lina Espina Moore. You can buy her books, her works, her novels. And Cornelio Faigao, poet Cornelio Faigao. Okay, Estrella Alfon. Magnificence. And with this very controversial work of her, the fairy tale for the city. Do you know that controversy of her? Why she stopped writing? Why she stopped writing in fiction and ninglayan siya to plays? Because of this issue, the fairy tale for the city. They find it obscene because coming into age man siya nga story about adolescent ba nga, yes, coming to age niya, it was not accepted during her time. So, what's this? Oh yes, it was banned, yes, so in different libraries. You cannot find it. It's a story only. Okay na, familiar na taan eh. The Servant Girl and Magnificence. How about Australian Lina Espina Moore? With these words, Heart of Lotus, Lying in the House, The Honey, The Locust. No problem for us because all of these works were translated in English. Lina Espina Moore is the highly translated, yes, novelist. Imagine, he translated your works from different languages, good, not only English. So, if we have copies of Lina Espina Moore's works outside. Okay. And the Lubas sa Dagang Bisaya. So, this one, first convention nila, and this one, first, we're taking sa officers. Dagang, what is dagang? The core of Cebuano writing. Yes, feather. So it's a symbol of writing. The core is the alubas sa dagang. No, di ba ma'am? It's dagang. Dagang. Dagang yun siya ma'am. Ato naan na is dagang, but it's dagang. Pen, yes, a feather. the symbol for writing. For Lucas is sakto sir. Kanang itakaan ng kahoy na white innermost core. Kanang ganyan puti, magtayo bugha ang kahoy. Di ba mura may kuyok? Yes, we call it lubas. Ma'am? Lubas? Or is it exclusive only for the tree, sir? Or can we use lubas for the as for the lubas is exclusive only for tree? Kahoy sa kahoy na siya ang lubas. Nasa tuloy lubas sa sungay sa kahoy, ma'am. Ay, sa Tabaw, sorry. So, ma-apply. Yes, ma-apply. Uyok, yes. Uyok kan, or uyok, something, or the core, or inside, okay. Okay, that's all for my lecture. You can, yes, express your questions, yes.
Why was Cebuano marginalized? Because of the ascendancy of English?
Yes, sir.
Here, there was a golden era of Philippine literature that would have included 1950 to 1960 was a good year for the development of Cebuano language, the use of radio. But somehow in all golden years, comparatively, the golden years of Hollywood still influence today. Why did our golden years did not influence until today? We were somewhere, something has gone awry, you know?
That's our goal and individual duty. It's not only for writers, but also for teachers, readers, diba?
Because there are no books or available stories that teacher can use for
Okay, materials.
materials. We actually run out of materials, and most of our materials only talk about Manila and Luzon. And there was, if ever you're going to read the Philippine history book, there was no mention about Yunquitan. No, there was no mention about other heroes of other places, but only the heroes that are concentrated in Manila. So, however, if we are going to promote more of our Cebuano culture, we will also be called regionalistic people.
You stopped that, of course, Tagobas is being local and regional.
Yes. However, it's good to promote Cebuano culture. However, it has to start with if not parents, teachers, but the teachers don't have materials for. Yes.
Yes.
Even if we start, yes, masugod naman kita. In as much as I'd like to use mga stories, short stories na Cebuano, the students nowadays can no longer understand some of the words used by the writers. Yes, and I also would want to ask kada mga katigwangan kay ako sa geographic terms nga sa ko kasabot. And most especially na bigamit sa MTV karon perting lawma. It's not conversational na. The typical conversation sa Cebuano.
Lounge is because we're not used to. Yes.
Conversation.
Diba? Wala na gamita.
Pinakombine naman mga based lang sa observation naman.
And I'd like to point out, you said that mostly stories you use in
In teaching Philippine literature, I will always,
language.
not only about
There's a
verbs,
problem of your selection.
language.
Sorry, there's a problem of selection there because we have stories now. Simple, yes, very conversational.
Like sa Leonero Estivo nga,
Pili.
ako sa unasan ni is makatong bani.
Ako pili. Ayog ka balaka, di ba kitagaan ang tamo and where to find, of course, resources, and with strong, of course, spirit of regionalism, karon to fight our works. Naghan na kayo, naghan pa kayo, nag-translate na karon, di ba? Yes, sir.
So, that question for everybody in Shamon kay kani siya na Cebuano literature lang. Kinsa na itong audience sa inyo tutubuan, elementary, high school, college, kinsa na? So, is it from elementary? Sir, I'm doing translation work. So, ang challenge ko sa Titambo sa mga is, naon ko siya, this kind of book. Right? So kung panamitan, para itong target for this kind of lessons, mga ko, or mga batan, what is school kind of imagine ko ako translate or the other thing is, sometimes naman, it's more like Cebuano literature, but we're using English as a medium to discuss, to teach. So, pag-lesson ko siguro sa kagap ko ba, kanya, from our end, there's also an obligation to educate our leaders. Example, now, there's also our concern. So what we did, kung now, for example, building. Kung yun na talagang building, no? Kung yun na siya talagang sa Kabunsi o ito ka sa Sunstar, Gampalay na siya. Right? And I'm sure a lot of people don't understand Gampalay. So what we did, yeah, so what we did is, ano na sa sila, to start with, yung bracket na sa lalo siya lang. Gambalay, so this is gambalay, this is building. To start with, and then, later on, magkasamot na po na sila. So, ako sa mga pakuratan, walang din kayo sa acceptable sa ilahan siguro ba?
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll try to answer one of your questions. Ang katong, saan mo pagpili kung lang ba ang kuan, igamit din mo ng ulo sa kanang nag-translate ka. So, tungod kay ilang sa akong gigikanan, ang akong dominant language is English, pero wala nag-start kung iko na. Of course, ang akong dominant na language pagkabata na ko, Bisaya, Jod. Yeah, over the years, ako So, ang akong nakatunan sa English is kay language educator magmo sa gawas. Yeah, wala akong training. So, kung naay list, it used to be, it's called Dolch list. Kunya karon it's called high frequency word list for different grade levels. So, mo na akong gamiton sa pagtuto sa akong kagalingon kung kuan ba siya high frequency or low frequency word. So, maingon kani akong mga amiga, uy, kalawang anak, maingon dyan ko dili na lawang. Kaya niingon naman ko, is sa buungon. Maingon na dahil sila, lawang ko na ako giingon. Wow! So, mo na, dili kay accurate ang paggamit nato sa word na lawang. So, usahay, pamatiyon yun mo kung unsay kuan. Imo dyan sa bayon. Hello?
I guess no, that's one point. Audience analysis, where you really have to know who your target audience is. Children's stories, okay na, because we're working on some children's stories now. When we retell ang mga folk tales, so kailangan no violence involved. Okay, makurat ko ng mga bata. So I'm retelling a story about war, and then haring gamit sa haring ngayon that from last time. So ano po kung retell ang stories, and hindi violent ang war. So audience analysis is the second point. Two, in teaching, you mentioned
tudlong sa Cebuano literature, pero English ang ginamit na medium of instruction. That's why ko sir, ako dito tudlong, lulong, binisaya ba? Ang reklamo mo po ng estudyante, hindi mo po kasabot tanan, no? Kanang varied po ng composition in terms of ng origin. So, but the thing is, isuwayan lang po, vocabulary work, it's a sugod ba? So what? Okay, we need to do vocabulary, it's double the work, but it's the beginning of something. So, you have a glossary list, you have glossary vocabulary work at the beginning, yeah, usay times, mula kay times 2 pagtrabaho sa teacher, magkuha ka ng time, kaya mag-explain mo man sa mga kahulugan. Pero kung saan ka, that's the way to go, yes, I think.
Program sa Department of Education ba? Introduce na ba ang Cebuano from elementary to high school? Kaya ako nakita niyo kung grade 1 to grade 3 lang siguro.
Grade 1 to grade 3. Grade 1 to grade 3 for now.
That's good. Kaya, karoon ka rin, ganito na lang, but eventually, they get to work. Hindi na siya lang, mabaw rin na siya.
Kaya naman turong nga po sa pwede ka na hindi po kung sa kanang instruction sa kanang ilang exam. Ang bata kay, wala ko kamuso nag-hindi po ko. Wala pa sa explain sa teacher sa nag-hindi po ko.
Good afternoon.
Wala, hindi siya, hindi po ko. So, pag-break po, example na exam nila, nasa Bisaya ka.
Thank you for your question, sir. Suggestion lang. Ironically, it's so funny because we are Cebuanos, right? And that's what I've been trying to push to my students. Because right now, I used to teach in the university level where it wasn't so hard teaching Cebuano lit to them, as we can just converse in Bisaya. But right now, with the little ones, because some parents, they don't want their kids learning Cebuano. Hilas for me, I'm sorry. If you have kids, they're Filipinos, we're Filipinos, ayaw maghihilas. Sorry, you have to learn. It's practical, di ba? They would have problems when they reach grade 4. And kaya ginagawa ko ng cheat ko Bardoy. These things, you kept talking about why they're not motivated. That's because probably we ourselves are in question. Diba? So, and the funny thing is, I'm a product of ESL where naman yung background sa ESL when I was studying here way back in college. Funny thing is, Ms. Russell, I am applying the methods of teaching English as a second language na noon. Sa grade 1 to grade 3, ESL na method, no? Which is, ridiculous. Diba? Kaya dapat matakabalo sila. Kasulti pa pag-toothbrush yung Bisaya, pag-toothbrush na. Diba? Ang sa may Bisaya as toothbrush. Magpa-picture, magpakuda. Diba? Magpanganon, magpalay ka. Papakulang mo ito, tawag ka itong maniniyon, di ba? We have to be practical in a way, but you college students are going to be parents in the future. Please teach your kids to love the Cebuano language. Thank you.
Can we have 2 more interactions?
Nalipay ko ba na ako din kay Dili ko Cebuano, Ilonggo ko, tapos I grew up learning Filipino and English side by side. And then when I went to Dumaguete, Bisaya na ko. So it was neither here nor there. But I use Cebuano text sa literature sa college. And then, namin din masabtan, we discover sa ka ni meaning. Kasi so, hindi mo po sila mga Cebuano. Bisaya, hindi mo po na mga terminologies na upa. Of course, that's similar words. So we have fun discovering the meaning. Wala hindi ka pagkabalo, mamutaan ng isa gawas, but it's fun doing that with children, university students. Kaya kanang you learn together at wala sila gaingon nga I have the monopoly on knowing everything about the text. So, like what Mom
standard ang sa gawas kung ganahan ka mo address po sa diaspora sa mga Pilipino nga naa sa gawas mga ganahan mo kuan mo mahibaw sa ilang heritage culture. So anyway, isa na to akong point. So karon, nagsugod ko og workshop sa akong storybook. So niadto ko na ako nang gi-workshop, naghimo ko og survey ron sa language use ug sa reading habits mga bata. So na-shock ko kay ang attitude sa mga bata, ang 5th grade man na akong focus sa akong storybooks kay at least nakatilaw na sila og tulo ka languages at that grade level. Kanila ha, nagsugod ra ko og mga tulo ka eskwelahan. So far, private school in Cebu, 2 public schools, 1 public school in Dumaguete, in Dapitan City, and 1 public school in Bacolod City. Unya, ato ko ron sa bukid in this month or next month, diri sa Cebu. Ang shocking kaayo na attitude is this. Sayon ra kunutunan ang in English. Sayon ra kunutunan sa mga batang Cebuano ang Tagalog. Pero lisod kunutunan nila ang Cebuano. Unya, pagpangutanan ako, unsa inyong sinungkihan sa balay di ay ang tubag nila namakap in the beginning. Ngayon sila in English. Unya, pagkahuman, gingon sila, ay, Cebuano ba ang istorya sa balay? In COVID daw. So, and that was the first time na nakaatulog sila o public library, kaya ginuhol na rin ako sa public library at March. It is shocking nga iyon ani ang attitude sa mga bata nato. Mauni ang kaugmao nato, nalibog ang mga bata tungod kay tulong na buok. Pinulungan ang ilang gitunan sa basic education pagani. Kunyawa pa sila malambo sa ilang unay nga lumad nga pinulungan. Shocking. Kay dili ni mahitabo sa ubang countries, walay ingon ani nga gihimo sa ubang nasod.
Yeah, Bisaya na yung isulting gamit, may office
Yes, ma'am. Last na si ma'am, ha?
Okay, I have a concern, ma'am. I only have 2 concerns. So first, regarding the statement of Jobel, we should motivate our children to encourage them to speak in Cebuano. But why is it in every corner of the school, like English only, please? And speak English in Madruga sa principal. So, it's unfair to the children that they're actually comfortable of Cebuano because that's what they are using it at home, diba? But then, if aduna sa eskwelahan, pag Bisaya ang bata, you speak English, anaon ang bata as na mga teachers.